Have you ever wondered what happened to the 12 apostles after Jesus' resurrection? Their stories didn't end in the Gospels. In fact, for most of them, it was just the beginning of a journey filled with incredible faith, immense challenges, and ultimately, martyrdom. Today, we're going to explore the powerful and often heartbreaking final chapters of the men who walked with Jesus. Let's start with Peter, the rock upon which Jesus said he would build his church. Peter became a foundational leader of the early Christian community, preaching boldly in Jerusalem and beyond. His ministry eventually took him to the heart of the Roman Empire. Tradition holds that during the persecution under Emperor Nero, Peter was crucified. But he didn't feel worthy to die in the same manner as his Lord, so he requested to be crucified upside down. This act of humility and devotion has echoed through the centuries, a testament to his transformation from a fearful denier to a fearless leader. Next, let's talk about the brothers James and John, the sons of thunder. James, the son of Zebedee, holds a unique distinction. He was the first of the 12 to be martyred. The book of Acts tells us that King Herod Agrippa had him executed by the sword in Jerusalem around the year 44 AD. His death was a stark and early reminder of the dangers that faced the followers of Christ. His brother John had a very different path. He is known as the disciple whom Jesus loved and is traditionally credited with writing the Gospel of John, 3 epistles, and the book of Revelation. Unlike his brother, John was the only apostle believed to have died of old age. However, his life was far from easy. He was exiled to the island of Patmos, where he received the apocalyptic visions of Revelation. Before his exile, one tradition says he miraculously survived. Being thrown into a cauldron of boiling oil in Rome, his long life was a testimony to divine protection and enduring faith. Andrew, Peter's brother, was the first disciple Jesus called. Filled with evangelistic zeal, he traveled far and wide, with traditions placing his missionary work in areas around the Black Sea and in Greece. It was in Patras, Greece, that he met his end. He was martyred on a cross, but not a traditional one. It was an X-shaped cross, which has since become known as St. Andrew's Cross. Like his brother Peter, he saw his suffering as a way to honor Christ. And it said he preached to the crowds for 2 days while hanging on the cross, unwilling to be taken down. Then there's Philip, who famously asked Jesus to show them the Father. His missionary journeys are said to have taken him to Greece, Syria, and Phrygia in modern-day Turkey. Accounts of his death vary, but a powerful tradition states that he was martyred in the city of Hierapolis. He was reportedly arrested and cruelly executed, possibly by crucifixion or beheading, for converting the wife of a Roman proconsul. Let's move on to Bartholomew, who is often identified with Nathanael. His missionary zeal reportedly took him to the farthest reaches, including India and Armenia. Armenia, in fact, honors him as the co-founder of its apostolic church. His end was particularly gruesome. According to tradition, he was flayed alive and then beheaded in Armenia by order of a local king after converting the king's brother. His story is a chilling example of the extreme hostility the apostles faced. Then we have Matthew, the tax collector who left everything to follow Jesus. He wrote the gospel that bears his name and is believed to have preached in Persia and Ethiopia. Details of his death are varied, with some sources saying he died a natural death and others claiming he was martyred. One of the most common traditions says he was staked to the ground and beheaded in Ethiopia for challenging the desires of a local king. Now for Thomas, forever known as Doubting Thomas, for needing to see the wounds of the risen Christ. But his doubt transformed into a powerful faith that took him further east than perhaps any other apostle. Tradition strongly links him to India, where he is credited with establishing the church. The Marthoma Christians of Kerala, India, trace their origins directly back to his mission. It's believed he was martyred near modern-day Chennai, where he was killed with a spear while in prayer. His journey from doubt to unwavering faith is an inspiration. Next is James, the son of Alphaeus, often called James the Less. He is one of the more obscure apostles, and historical details about him are often confused with other figures named James. One tradition says he preached in Syria and was crucified there. Another, more prominent tradition, says he was stoned and then clubbed to death in Jerusalem, after being thrown from the pinnacle of the temple for refusing to deny his faith in Jesus. Let's look at Jude, also known as Thaddeus. He is the author of the short but powerful Epistle of Jude in the New Testament. Often working alongside Simon the Zealot, his missionary travels are traditionally placed in Mesopotamia, Libya, and Persia. Tradition holds that he and Simon were martyred together in Persia, possibly in the city of Swanir. It is said they were overcome by a mob and Jude was clubbed to death, a brutal end for a faithful servant. Simon the Zealot, who partnered with Jude, was once part of a political movement seeking to overthrow the Romans. His transformation into a preacher of peace is remarkable. As mentioned, he is believed to have preached and died alongside Jude in Persia. Another tradition, however, suggests he was martyred in Britain, where he was supposedly crucified. While the exact location is debated, his commitment to spreading the gospel is clear. Finally, we come to Judas Iscariot, the one who betrayed Jesus. His story is the most tragic of all. Overcome with guilt and remorse after his betrayal, the Gospels of Matthew and Acts give slightly different but equally grim accounts of his end. Matthew says he returned the 30 pieces of silver and then went and hanged himself. Acts describes him falling headlong in a field he bought with his reward, his body bursting open. His story serves as a somber warning about despair and the consequences of turning away from the light. He was replaced by Matthias, chosen by the remaining 11 apostles to restore their number. Tradition says Matthias preached around the Caspian Sea and was also martyred, possibly by being stoned and then beheaded. From upside-down crucifixion to being flayed alive, the apostles paid the ultimate price for their faith. Their stories are not just tales of suffering. They are powerful testaments to a conviction so strong that nothing, not even the most terrible death, could shake it. They truly carried their cross and followed him to the very end. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into history and faith meaningful, please like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. See you next time.